Servanthood. You can find it all throughout the Nickelodeon show Avatar, The Last Airbender, currently being streamed on Netflix. For the sake of this video, we'll be covering the 3 most powerful ways servanthood is displayed in Avatar. This video does contain spoilers, so if you haven't seen it yet, go watch it before you watch this. And if you don't care, then hang tight. Hello and welcome. This is That'll Preach, a series by Church Words Defined, showing you God in your media. If you're not subscribed, make sure that you do subscribe and hit the notification bell so you won't miss out on any more videos like this one. To start, let's look at how the Bible defines a servant. Servant can be defined as one who performs a task under the direction of another, or a person bound to one more powerful. In the Greek, it's called doulos. The most obvious example of servanthood comes from Aang. Aang, the last surviving airbender, is our protagonist. Before the 100-Year War, brought on by the Fire Nation, Aang was frozen solid for 100 years. It was up to Aang to end the war and bring Fire Lord Ozai to his defeat. In the beginning of the series, we can see Aang struggling with the fact that he had been chosen to be the Avatar. He knew that he would not be able to live life like a normal 12-year-old boy, and that he would carry great responsibility. And child, he really just wasn't here for that for a while. The duty of the Avatar is to master bending in the elements of fire, water, earth, and air, and to bring peace to the 4 nations in doing so. That's heavy for a kid. And with the war getting increasingly worse, he also needed to act fast. But he ultimately came to the realization that this was a job only he could do for the sake of others. This is a picture of servanthood at its finest. Aang finds himself in a constant self-denial, as a servant does. He is told at several points that his personal feelings are secondary to the greater good. He wants to live life like a normal kid, but he lets that go to serve the world. He struggles learning the other elements and wants to give up at many points, but he doesn't because he knows his duty. This kind of reflects the sacrifice that Jesus made for our world. Jesus said, "For even the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve, and give his life as a ransom for many," in Matthew 20:28. In giving up his whole life, Jesus has to give up his wants, his desires, his comfort, and so much more for the sake of others. We see these same things in the sacrifice that Aang made to serve. Next, Katara and Saka. The brother and sister duo were the ones to discover the Avatar Aang in the iceberg he'd been frozen in. They took him to their village and after a few days decided that there was purpose in them crossing paths. They were meant to help the Avatar on his quest to master all the elements and save the world from the war. They left their family and friends to help him. Everything that they knew, they gave up, not knowing what would be in store for them personally. It was a sacrifice, but they caught a vision of what Aang would do for the world and really did not see how they could turn their backs on him. This reminds us of the disciples. They all left everything that they knew to walk with Jesus, to serve him and do their part to carry out God's will. But this is also a picture of how the Christian is to serve those we come into contact with. Philippians 1:4 tells us, "Each of you should be concerned not only about your own interests, but the interests of others as well." This is how we carry out loving our neighbor as ourselves. They were not just concerned with what they were doing in their village, but they had an affection for Aang and the well-being of the world. Lastly, let's look into Zuko's story. Zuko does not start off on a good note, spending much of the series hunting Aang and in conflict with himself. My guy is struggling, and it's pretty heartbreaking for a while. When he gets his first opportunity to do the right thing, he blows it, choosing to chase what he thought would give him peace and restore his honor, his father's acceptance. He quickly realizes that what he always wanted was not truly satisfying, that instead he would enjoy a much more fulfilling life helping Avatar Aang bring peace to all the nations. This cost him his seat at his father's right hand. In season 3, we see him come to Aang and Team Avatar not as an enemy, but as an ally willing to serve the team in any way he can. In the end, for choosing not to join his father and sister in the Fire Nation dictatorship and instead helping the Avatar fight for the good of humanity, he gets the crown and is named Fire Lord of the Fire Nation. We can't help but to think of this as another example of Christian life. We, like Zuko, try to live our lives our own way, chase our own wants, hopes, and desires. But when we get them, somehow it's not as great as we thought it would be. We make a decision to follow Jesus and be of service to him. Give our lives to do whatever the will of God is and realize that this was the path we were meant to be on after all. Matthew 23:11-12 says that the person who is greatest among you is a servant. Whoever honors himself will be humbled, and whoever humbles himself will be honored. As Zuko did, we fight for honor and recognition in this culture by constantly striving, compromising, manipulating, and so much more. By humbling ourselves and taking the place as a servant, as Zuko did, the honor in which we desire will be given to us. In this series, Zuko gets his crown on earth. However, for the Christian, we know that though we may enjoy earthly pleasures, our ultimate reward for our service to God is in heaven with him. The series shows us that a life of servanthood is rewarding and fulfilling beyond what we can imagine. It also shows us that service requires a decision. We have to choose to lay the things we want down and choose to instead direct our attention to serve. And my friends, that'll preach. Hey y'all, thank you so much for watching this video. If you're not following us on social media, you can find us on Instagram at Church Words Defined, on Facebook at Church Words Defined, and on TikTok at It's Church Words Defined. Make sure you leave us a like, a big thumbs up, and leave in the comments what was your favorite analysis from this video, as well as other TV shows and movies or things like that that you might want to see us cover for next time. Bye.